Good day, guys. Today I received my overhead blade guard from Felder for my Felder sliding table saw. This is the Felder 700S series. So I did not get instructions how to install that, and I didn't really want to call the technician because he's about 4 hours away, so it cost me quite a bit to get him over here, but I'm confident that I can figure it out how to install that. So this is the main part right here, and I know that it will be installed here because when the technician was here installing my saw, we had talked about that overhead guard. It's an accessory, and at the time I didn't really want to spend the money, but I find it makes a little bit too much dust, so that's why I bit the bullet and bought it. But yeah, when I was talking to the technician, he said it would bolt on the side here. So I'll show you the rest of it. So on my table here's the overhead blade guard. This is one I want to make 45-degree cuts. So yeah, this is all the hardware. As you can see, I got 6 really heavy-duty washers. They're 1/4 inch thick. I got 3 big bolts here. There's 16mm bolts with the 3 big nuts. Yeah, there's an L bracket here. I think this is might be an 8 or 10mm bolt. And I got a couple smaller bolts here with washers. Oh, here's this nut here. It goes with this bolt here, I guess. And then I got more washers and bolts here. I got a couple end caps to cap the tubing, and there's a mechanism here for the where the blade guard connects to. So all right, first thing what I'm going to do here is I'm going to remove my rip fence just in case it's in the way. Alright guys, so I had time to look at it a little bit. So first thing, it looks like I'm going to have to remove this extension table here. I don't think it's really necessary, but I think it's just going to make it life easier a little bit. Also, this plate, this cover plate here, looks like I'm going to have to remove this so that I can put my hand on the other side. I think the nuts will go on the other side of these holes right here. And also I'm going to remove this cover plate here as well. Okay guys, I just learned something here. You don't have to remove these screws completely. All you have to do is loosen them like so. Maybe two turns should be good enough. 2 full turns. Okay, then you can push these washers here inwards. See that moving? Maybe I should use a piece of wood to do this. Now it should come right off. There we go. Alright guys, I'd like you to ignore the fact that I've already installed the arm for the overhead guard. I've already videotaped all this, but I made a crucial mistake and I had to take the arm back off again. So this is super important. At the beginning of the video, I showed this bolt here. I think this is a 10mm bolt. Okay, so you have to put this bolt in first. Now, the overhead, the arm for the overhead guard is not tightened, so it's loose, all right, as you can see. But even if I lift it all the way, there's no room to put that bolt there, so I had to take the arm, the overhead arm guard back off. So this plate here, there's already threads in here, okay? So you put the bolt in, and this is, the bolt here is just to adjust your the arm to make it level. That's all it is. And there's a nut here, all right? So this goes over here. So once you've adjusted the bolt, this nut here is just to lock thing back in place. Okay guys, it looks like I'm going to have one bolt over here, one over here, and one over here. So one here, and the middle one right here. That's what it looks like, so I'm going to try that out. Alright guys, like I said, I have to put this bolt through the hole. So what I'm going to do, I use this is a 24mm socket. So I'm going to use a piece of painter's tape. And then now I should have a tight fit on the bolt here. So yeah, so now it holds really good, so that way I can insert the bolt like so, but I can't forget to put in the washer first. Alright, got one bolt in. Alright guys, I got all three bolts in there right now, so let's go underneath. I'm going to show you as best as I can. It's kind of dark underneath here, so I might need my flashlight. Oh, okay, well, that's not bad. So there you go. So I got one bolt here, one here, and one over here. As you can see, I didn't put the washer and the nut there yet. There, focus. Okay, let me see if I can explain that to you. Okay, you see where my finger here is? There's a slot there. So I think that's for the washer to go in, because there's not enough room between the wall here and the bolt for the washer to fit in. But there is, I don't know if you can see it on camera, there is a little slot there. So what I'm going to have to do is pull out the bolt a little bit. So I'm going to insert my washer into the slot and push the bolt back in, and then I'm going to put the nut over the washer. Alright guys, so I installed that washer I was talking about. So let's see if we can see it on a camera. Alright, you can see that that washer fits nicely in the groove there. So as you can see, I got all three bolts installed. They're just torqued just ever so slightly. so I can still adjust the overhead bar to level. All right guys, I want to show you one more time where I put the bolts. I got one here, and one here. Like I said, I didn't torque them, so I still got room to wiggle around here because I got to find out what's the next step. Alright guys, so I got the top of the arm here perfectly level, okay, and it matches the tabletop here, it's perfectly level, alright. So the next thing to do is take a 17mm wrench and torque that nut so everything stays in place. Alright, next we're going to install the bracket for the overhead guard. So I can see here 4 holes right here. So I got 4 bolts, 4 lock nuts, and 8 washers. Okay, next we're going to use a 13mm key and a 5mm hex, and we're just going to snug it. I'm not going to put it too tight just because the holes are slotted, and we're going to put the overhead blade guard, and then we're going to have to line it up after anyway. So for now I'm just going to snug it. Alright, now we have to remove these screws here, and I'm using a T27 Torx. Alright, now we're going to put the shroud for the dust collection. So again, we have to remove these screws here using a Torx T27. Alright, there's like a little hydraulic cylinder here, so the way it works, it's pretty neat. You just push down and it just stays. If you want to cut a thicker piece of wood, you just pull it up and it stays. So that's pretty neat. Alright guys, as you can see, this riving knife here is not the proper riving knife for this overhead blade dust collector. So they did send the proper riving knife, but this one here is 2.8mm. I don't know if you can see that, 2.8mm. This is a diamond blade, and the riving knife that I need is 2.4mm, so that's on order. So for now, I'm just going to use this one here. Alright guys, these holes here are slotted, and there's actually a lot of adjustments. So one adjustment is to center the shroud here with your blade. The other adjustment, it has to be parallel with your blade, so it can't be like this or like this. And the other adjustments is the shroud here has to be parallel with your table. So what I mean by that, it can tilt up or tilt down. So when I bring this down, okay, the wheel here and this wheel touch the table at the same time. So those are all adjustments. So now that everything is perfect, I tightened all those 4 bolts nice and tight. So now what we have to do next is put the plastic end caps. So we're going to put the end cap at this end of the pipe, or the square tubing, and one at the other end. All right, guys, so it's looking good, but we're not done yet. We're almost done, but we're not done because we got some spare parts. So that's all we have left, so that's pretty easy to figure where it goes. So you got this L bracket here. Now you see there's there's 4 holes. And these set of holes here are lower, and these set of holes are higher. I don't know if that shows on camera. But anyways, I figured there's 2 different ways to put these brackets. All right, like this. And you got 3 holes here. That's why 3 holes. I don't know, probably a different saw. Like this ripping table is 49 inches. Maybe for a different saw you have to use the 2 upper holes, but you can clearly see here it's not going to work if I use the 2 upper holes, so I got to use the 2 lower one. But it doesn't quite match up. And I really don't want to mess with the angle because of the arm here, because it's perfectly level, so I want to keep it that way. So I'm going to use these set of holes here because they're lower. So the bracket will match now, okay? Or yeah, it's not perfect, but the holes are sloppy, so it will work. So this is how I'm going to put the bracket. Now we have some bolts and nuts. All right, so that's going to go through there. The nuts are going to go on the back side. And over here, these holes here are not threaded. But what I've noticed, not the black, but the silver bolts, there are self-tapping bolts. Believe me, I had a close look at it, and like you probably can't zoom close enough for that. But the tip is not round; it's more like a triangle, and the threads they're very fine at the tip, just like a tap. It's made just like a tap, really. So. That all makes sense now. So this is what we're going to do next. All right, so this is all nice and tight. Yeah, I don't really know if that was really necessary, but I had it, so might as well install it. So one more thing left. This is for when you want to cut 45-degree cuts. So to pop this one out here, you just press this button here and press it in, and it pops right out. Anyways, when you're not using this guard here, I'll show you where it goes. All right, you see these 2 little studs sticking out? So there you go, that's where it goes. Okay, we're gonna reinstall this plate. You see there's 2 notches at the bottom here, and you see the 2 bumps here, so that's how you know how it goes. The proper orientation. Alright, so once that's on there, then you have to push this like this, lock it in. Okay, I think the best way is to use a piece of wood. There we go, that's much easier. There we go. Here, you see that? Okay, so now we use a Torx T15, and we just tighten it a little bit. Okay, we're going to put back our extension table. Okay, for any reason, if you need to move this overhead arm out of the way, you just loosen up this knob here. And now you can move it out of the way. Tighten back up and nice and solid again. Okay guys, I started to install a ductwork system, and I ordered quite a bit of it, but unfortunately I didn't order enough. I wasn't really sure how to go about it, so I had to make another order, which will take another 2-3 weeks for me to get. So because of this, I cannot demonstrate today how well this overhead dust collector works. So I still gotta put a Y there with a piece of 3-inch flex pipe to my overhead dust collector. So this will be a separate video anyways, and I will show you how well this works. Alright guys, thanks for watching.